I personally, I don't eat meat. I mean, I sometimes eat meat, but I generally don't eat meat.
We're all humans, we're all animals. Let's just hug.
So we're all animals.
You know what I mean?
Are you vegan?
We're all the same.
That's the way to
Fuck
go.
Brexit as well.
There is no justification. You should be aware of that.
Let's do this experiment. Okay. How important is consent to you?
What do you mean by consent?
Like you consenting. Let's put it in a situation so that it's easier. Let's say somebody wants to take you back to their home. How important is consent to you?
I mean, obviously it's important that I agree because I don't
Yeah.
want to get to somebody I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So it's important, but
Yeah.
what's the context?
Well,
Just to go
just this. This one person from the street,
Yeah.
a stranger, let's say, wants to
yeah.
take you back to their home.
Yeah.
How important is consent?
Very important.
It's very important. Okay, I like that. And I'm going to throw some hypotheticals out there
sure.
to get you to think a bit. Okay, what if you would be passed out and can't remember? Do you think consent matters?
Yeah, sure.
Even if you can't remember what they're going to do, they'll bring you back to the same place.
Yeah, obviously, because
Okay.
I mean, I don't remember, but still, like, I'm the person, right? So I should
yeah.
decide.
What if, let's say, let's take a different person and they're mentally challenged or they're not intelligent enough to understand the concept of consent. Does consent still matter?
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I like that. Okay. What if they look different? They have a different skin color. They're, I don't know, have a lot of hair or something. Does consent matter?
Yeah, sure. I think.
They'll make sense at the end.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Okay, what if the person who wants to take you back to their home or that other person really wants to do it?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because
Consent?
That's what I want to do.
Exactly, consent still matters. Okay, what if it benefits the other person? It gives them pleasure or something.
Still doesn't matter. I mean,
Yes.
it matters if I want to do it and it pleasures the other person. It's all right because it benefits both of us, right?
Yeah, but let's say, even if it benefited you, if it's against your consent, would you still need consent? Like if they say, well, if I take this person back to my house, they're definitely gonna love it. Do you think consent would still matter in that?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Consent still matters. Okay. What if a lot of people are doing it? For some reason, you're in a foreign country, everybody's doing it.
Still doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Consent? You would still need consent. Okay, I like that. What if it's legal? Does legality change it?
No.
Okay. And what if people, like a lot of people are doing it and for a long time and it's part of their tradition?
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't change it. Consent would still matter.
Yeah.
Okay. And all of these questions have been leading to this one question at the end. But before I do that, I just want to reiterate that it doesn't matter what the person looks like. It doesn't matter what state they're in. It doesn't matter whether you can understand what's happening or not. Or if the other person wants to do it, if it benefits them, or if everybody's been doing it for a long time, consent still matters.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think? And this is my final question, and I'm not trying to catch up on this one because this is what the whole experiment has been leading into. What do you think about the animals that we force into slaughterhouses for us? Do you think consent matters in those situations?
Well, that's a good question. Because I think we give a specific type of consent, right? Because we can talk.
Yeah.
But how do we know if they give consent?
Well, if there's people who cannot talk, how do we know if they give consent?
We don't.
We don't. But we still ask for consent.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you think we ask for consent when we force animals into slaughterhouses?
No. Obviously we don't.
No. Okay. So how do you feel about this topic in general? Like, how do you feel about animals going into slaughterhouses?
You mean like with...
Do you feel it's right? Do you think it's wrong? How do you
Well-
feel about it?
I personally, I don't eat meat
Okay.
as a start. So, I mean, I sometimes eat meat, but I generally don't eat meat. And I think it's a controversial topic. No, it's not. Because, like, moral and stuff, I don't think you can justify putting all the animals in this type of situation. You cannot. I mean, you
like
can
that.
say because, okay, it's my pleasure, I want to eat animals, by example.
Yeah.
But it's not a good justification. It's not. Any justification, it won't be it. I mean, you can do that if you want to. Okay, just do it, but there is no justification. You should be aware of that. That's my opinion.
I'll come back to you. What do you think about it?
Yes, I think it's very hard to
to say something about that because yes, it's absolute. The moral about the topic is very.
Yeah.
It's not good. So, but I'm not a good example because I eat meat. So
do you
it's
find it
very
immoral? Immoral? Do you find it? Do you
Yes,
find it
of
immoral?
course.
Yeah. So then, if you find it immoral and yet you still participate in it, doesn't that make it a contradiction?
yes, of course.
Yeah.
But in today's century, we are very comfortable.
Yeah.
So
But
you
do you think
don't-
that should dictate whether we force this
so
animal?
of course it's very unmoral. So
Yeah.
I think every human here know that's very unmoral and that the animals deserve a better life.
Yeah.
But was heißt Umfeld?
Aw. The surrounding, like the people surround
So
you.
yes, the people surround me and the conditions around us doesn't give to the people that it's unmoral. So
Yeah.
it's very difficult for us.
But you see, that's why I asked these questions, right? Because one of the questions is, what if everybody's doing it? Does it make it better? It doesn't, right?
No, it doesn't.
So in that sense, even if everybody does it around you, doesn't necessarily mean that you doing it is okay, does it?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So then, because I sit here and I have conversations with people, I try to have productive conversations with people regarding veganism. Do you know what veganism is?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Can you just
So also we are coming from Germany, and also in Germany there's a very big debate about the veganism. And
Yeah, it is.
but yes, I think that a lot of people that are try to die das halt so rüberbringen wollen, die try to
Was willst du sagen?
ja, die das halt übermitteln wollen, die diesen Veganismus durchsetzen wollen.
The- Ja, und was ist mit denen?
Ja, die machen das halt teilweise falsch.
Ah, okay. He's trying to say that the people who support veganism are supporting it wrongly because there actually is a
So it's
German
probably very
woman, and she's extreme and she shouts at people
yes.
and she.
And I think it's a
we
wrong,
can talk about that a bit later. I understand what you mean, but
Yes.
well, what do you think veganism is before we dive into that?
Well, people who live vegan. That's veganism for me.
Yeah, but what is it like?
Well,
what does it mean to live vegan?
Not eating meat, not containing, not like
animal
enclosed.
products.
Yeah, no animal products in every part of your life.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's clothing, if it's food, if it's, I don't know, whatever.
And why do you think we do that?
Well, because of the animals.
Exactly. So veganism is a moral principle. It's not a diet. It's not
Yeah,
anything
no,
else.
no,
It's
yeah.
a moral principle and a lifestyle
Yeah.
where we oppose the commodification of animals. That means we don't want animals to be treated as objects, right? Because in all of these industries, if you think about the animal agriculture, animals are treated like objects, right? The farmers care for them, but the minute they're no longer useful to the farmer or they don't make money for the farmer, they're gone. They go to a slaughterhouse, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, they are pretty much just like objects.
Yeah.
And we don't want them to be exploited.
Mhm.
So, what about that? Do you find relatable to you? Would you agree with that definition? Would you say, I align with that? Do you align with that definition of not exploiting animals?
Generally, yes.
Generally, what does generally mean?
Yeah, I mean, thing is, I'm not vegan, right? So I can't say I rely with it because I don't live with the standards.
Before we go on to that, let's just test the morals, the moral aspect of
Yeah,
it,
well,
right?
the moral aspect, it's obviously.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is no reason to not like justify that.
I like that. Okay. So then what you're having difficulty is aligning your own actions with your own morals. That's what
Yeah.
you're telling me, right? So then what is it, where are you having difficulty with? What is it that is keeping you from being, from not exploiting animals?
Well, I think it's the own pleasure of people. They are used to it. Like, for example, eating meat. They are used to eating meat. They grew up eating meat. It's not justifying that.
Yes, I think we're at a real risk of world war at the moment, and I just wish everybody would just chill out, take a break, you know what I mean, and just think we're all humans, we're all animals. Let's just hug.
Said
You know?
we're all animals.
You know what I mean?
Are you vegan?
I'm not a vegan, no, but
Well, you said we're all animals.
we are all animals. We are
Should we send animals
intelligent.
into slaughterhouses?
We are intelligent apes. We are. We are the most intelligent species on planet Earth. Putin needs. I don't know where I'm going with this, but why is someone like Putin sending people to their deaths. Why? Why?
We can have a conversation, but I was having a conversation
Sorry,
with them
sorry.
afterwards. If you want, you can wait and we can have a conversation afterwards, okay?
What's wrong about
I've got- sorry.
what's wrong about eating eggs or something like this?
Yeah. So I can go into all of this. So first of all, we oppose the idea that animals should be exploited. Within the egg industry, animals are also exploited. And you might think, oh, it's a little bit of exploitation. It's not that bad. Or that's kind of how people see it, that chickens lay eggs and farmers just pick them up and they go about your day. But the chickens that lay eggs, for example, they come from hatcheries. And in hatcheries, there's, of course, it's a place where chickens hatch from eggs. And there's a 50-50 chance that there would be either male or female. If they are male, they are useless to the egg laying industry, and they don't grow up because they're different chickens to the chickens that you eat normally. So they just get shredded up alive in their first day of life. They go into an industrial blender on their first day of life. So there's that.
For making money.
Say that again? Well, because they're useless to the industry. They don't produce anything. They're products to them. That's what they are, right? They're products that they don't need, so they get rid of them. They dispose of them. And a normal chicken, like a wild chicken, would normally lay 12 to 15 eggs a year. But these chickens have been selectively bred to lay an egg almost every day. And that is already very consuming on their bodies and all of this. And, you know, in sanctuaries where they rescue chicken, they lay eggs every day, but what they do is they take the eggs and they smash them on the ground and the chickens come pecking at it because they lack the nutrients. Because, I mean, all of these chickens are, what, this big, and an egg is like this big. Imagine taking an arm out of yourself every single day. It's pretty consuming, isn't it? And you can imagine, because it's their periods. Imagine having your period almost every day for your life, for your whole life. It is consuming, isn't it? Yeah, so that's kind of what it is with eggs. Do you know about the dairy industry?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what happens in the dairy industry?
Well, the animals are treated badly.
Yeah, but do you know like anything about the practices or anything?
Well, there was a video actually from a German YouTuber, and
Yeah.
he went to like a big farm where they showed all the animals.
Yeah.
And they showed pigs and cows and how they were treated.
Yeah.
So like a little, but I'm obviously not.
So
no, the top.
I'll just give you a quick representation, because also probably dairy, a lot of people don't realize that. So cows produce milk for their babies. They're mammals just like us. We produce milk when we need to be pregnant to produce milk, right? And farmers don't just wait for cows to get them pregnant whenever they want to, but rather they forcefully impregnate them. Somebody puts their hands in their anus, holds their cervix, and then injects bull semen. The bull semen has also got like a really weird method where they put an anal dildo in the bull with the electrocute to stimulate them, and then when they ejaculate, they take the semen. It's kind of fucked up already. But this isn't even the messed up part. The messed up part is that this is messed up. If you ask me, it's kind of because cows don't agree to any of this. They don't consent to it, yet this happens to them. But after 9 months, when the baby is born, they separate the babies from the mother because the milk has to go for human consumption, not for the babies. Some farmers will say, well, we let them drink, but they very little. They have very little time with their mother. They always get separated, both in the dairy and in the meat industry. That this happens. And if in the dairy industry, if the baby is a male, they're useless to the industry. They don't produce milk, so of course they're classed as waste products. So they get raised up to 1 year and then slaughtered, or slaughtered directly, or even so. There's even farms in Netherlands, I think, where animal welfare is pretty high standards, and they found that I think like 70% of farms were just leaving them to die of hunger in their barns, which is also horrific. And if they're female, they get put in the same cycle as their mothers, year over year, forceful impregnation, until like 6 to 8 years, when they can no longer justify keeping them alive, and like financially, right? Because afterwards they produce way less milk, so farmers say, we got to send them to the slaughterhouse at this year. And they can live up to 20 years, so they don't live even half their life. So would you say that that's a very awful thing to do to these beings?
Yeah.
Yes. After explaining it, yes.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yes, it's very horrible.
Yeah, this is what got me vegan. Hearing about this and learning about this is what got me vegan. This is standard practice, biological, free range, all of it is the same. It gets even worse in certain situations, but this is across the board standard practice.
Yes, in my opinion, it's very, very good that you're explaining it so well to the people on the street. And
Yeah.
so it's not regular that people know everything about veganism
It's insane.
like you do. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I want to have these conversations with people, because a lot of people are unaware of what they're paying for, right? And knowing this, what do you feel about it? Do you feel you want to keep contributing to this industry?
That's a tough question. May I ask how long have you been vegan for?
It's been 2.5 years now, and I was vegetarian for 6 before that.
And what changed your mind? Were
From
there, like,
vegetarian to
yeah.
vegan, hearing about this, about the dairy industry, and realizing I can't justify any of it, like, no matter how I spin it. And the reality is that you have so many options nowadays in supermarkets that,
Yeah.
what? Oh no, I have to drink, instead of normal yogurt, I'll have to get soy yogurt or something. They taste so similar that it's like, yeah, there's a difference in taste, but not enough to justify doing this to them. So
Yeah.
But was there someone like you who convinced you to be?
no, I watched it on. I watched some videos online, and
Okay.
that convinced me.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't somebody. I don't know if I had met somebody what I would have thought, but I would definitely would have looked into it. So I hope that you at least get this from this conversation, that you should look further into it and decide whether you want to pay for this or not. But before we get to that point where we end this conversation,
Yes.
I want to know how you feel in this moment. Like, what is your brain telling you? What is your gut telling you? Do you want to contribute to this?
Yes, in this moment I feel very horrible for
Yeah.
eating meat the whole day. So
Yeah,
you showed up the whole facts
yeah.
about veganism and vegetarian. So yes,
Yeah,
I
and
feel
keep in mind,
absolutely-
vegetarians, it's a diet. It's not a lifestyle, right? Vegetarians still consume dairy, still consume eggs. They still participate in all of this exploitation.
But I think it's still good eating vegetarian than eating meat.
Is there a difference?
It's better.
Is there a difference? Because animals still get exploited. They still go to the slaughterhouse.
I think it depends, because if you start being vegetarian as a start, it's good. I mean, if you, like, for example, if you're a vegetarian for a year and then start to become vegan, it's better than just not doing it.
Yes.
Of course,
Right?
if the goal is to be vegan, of course it's better, right? But if you think about it from the perspective of the victims, like, let's put it in a different perspective. Let's say somebody beats their wife every day, and then decides to beat their wife once a week, right? It's obviously better.
Yes,
But
there's-
it's still not. It's not
it's
just.
still
But
bad.
an injustice is still happening,
Yeah.
right? So in that sense, you're not consuming meat anymore. You're still consuming some dairy products, but the dairy products still contribute to these animals
Yeah,
being
yeah.
exploited and
True.
slaughtered. So it gets you kind of in the same area. Yeah,
Yes, it's still bad.
yeah. That's why vegans exist. That's why we do this. Well, I'm a vegan activist. You don't have to be a vegan activist. But as a vegan yourself means just not participating in all this. It just means I choose in the supermarket, instead of buying this milk, I go for the plant-based milk. Instead of meat, I go for the plant-based meat, or whatever other dish you want, right? There's always an option. It's just a matter of choosing that option.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, yes, you're right. Of course, you're right, but I think that a lot of humans know that veganism is right, but not all of them
Exactly.
I think it's
will
about
be
discipline.
will be a veganism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is about discipline in a sense, right? Because all of these industries, right, the dairy industry, they don't tell you these stuff that I told you. And the reason why they keep these hidden, they are, like, if you look at the slaughterhouse, they're better kept than fucking bank. They're insanely well kept because they don't want people to find out. This is their whole shtick. They keep people from knowing what we do to animals, because otherwise, if you knew, people stop buying.
Yeah, sure.
People
I
don't
mean,
wanna
they want
buy.
the money, right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
economic-wise, it's better that we don't know,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and the reason why they do this is because people pay for it. There's
Yeah.
supply and demand, right? So, in that sense, you have an impact on this, right? It's like you vote with your money. When you put your money in there, you say, do more of this to animals.
Yeah.
If you don't put your money on the other side, not only do you say don't do this to animals, you also increase another industry that could potentially overtake the other industry. Doesn't matter which company. If you have a problem with one company, go for another company. You don't have to go for Beyond Meat if you don't like Beyond Meat or whatever, right? It's about the animals at the end of the day.
That's true.
Yes, I think the most of us are too comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think that should be an
It's-
excuse to do it?
No, of course not. But it's too easy to eat meat.
It is.
So
Because we're
going-
surrounded by places
Yes,
that offer
yes, of
this.
course.
I understand that, yeah.
so no restaurants here are not offering meat.
Okay.
So or the most of the restaurants.
They also
So
offer a
it's-
vegan option.
Yes,
Yeah.
Not everyone.
Yes.
I think almost all restaurants
Yeah,
offer
they
vegan
do?
options. Yeah, most of them. And
Yes, of course, but all the restaurants are offering more meats.
yeah, it's true because
Yes, but you have
demand.
the offer.
There's
You have the
demand.
offer.
Yeah, yeah, and that's. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what do you value more? Do you
Yes, of
value
course.
more the idea that you're participating in this thing? Well, not just participating, that you're directly complicit in exploitation and slaughter of these individuals who are sentient. Do you know what sentience is? Because that's also a base of veganism. So sentience just means that they have emotions, they feel, they have a subjective experience. They experience the world around them much like we do. They're just not as intelligent as us. But then again, there's also not intelligent people out there, right? So, and we don't send them to slaughterhouses. So in that sense, what you got to ask yourself is, do you want to be complicit in this, or do you want to not be complicit in this? And then you have to ask yourself, because you say it's hard, but do you think it's harder for you or for the animals? And do you think that this hardness matters more than not participating in this, than not putting animals in this position? It's a complicated.
I mean,
Fuck
it's
war, fuck Putin, fuck them all. Let's all just live in happiness and peace. We're all the same.
that's the way to
Fuck
go.
Brexit as well.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think it's a choice you have to make.
It's a choice you have to make, right? It's
It's either or. It's
Yeah.
not both.
Yeah, it's either or, right? So, well, you understand the black and whiteness of it, right? If you're not vegan, you will participate in it. It's not. There's no gray area into it. Yeah. And if you are vegan, you're not participating in it. It's as easy as that, right? So, what do you feel like? What do you feel like you want to do it right now? Like, just be honest with me. Like, I understand that you probably feel bad. I understand it feels like one of those life decisions that you're like, oh, do I want to be this? I don't know. It feels like a commitment issue that you're never going to consume this again. But then,
I
Do
think
you-
you have to be realistic
yeah,
in this because I mean I don't think that people who eat meat every day will stop from now on and not eat meat, right? And I think I know that it's not a justification, but starting with less meat and becoming a vegan step by step is still a better choice.
obviously it is a better choice. But and also what I want to say is that it's easy for us to mention what people do, because it kind of absolves us of the responsibility we have as individuals, right? In this whole matter, right? When we say, well, people do it because of this, but I'm speaking to you too. I'm facing you with this choice. I'm explaining it to you, so you know it. A lot of people don't know about
Yeah.
the thing that I just mentioned to you. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to take it a step-by-step approach, or do you want to stop exploiting animals?
That's a good question. How about you?
Yes, I will be honest. So, yes, after our conversation, I'm very, I'm very bad about eating meat. So,
Yeah.
and you are very right about telling the people your opinion, and yes, it's the right way. So everyone absolutely has to be vegan, but I'm honest. I will not prohibit eating meat. But after our conversation, I will try to eat less meat.
Yeah, you will beat your wife less. I understand. It's the same idea.
It's
But
a fucked up topic.
It's a fucked up. It's not an easy
because
topic.
there is
It is.
well
I
it's
understand
honestly it is an easy topic because there's one right choice to make.
that. Exactly.
It's not I mean
you
we
go.
don't have to discuss about it, right? Because there is just one choice. Like there's no right or wrong. Well, there is, right?
Yeah.
You have to
Yes.
make one choice,
Yeah.
and there's only one right choice and not different choices
I
to
mean,
make.
if you ask me, the reality is why I'm sitting here is I'm sitting here and telling people what happens, and I offer them the solution, which is veganism.
Yeah,
But if you think there's another solution,
no, there isn't.
there you go. There is.
No, of course there's no other solution. So
Yeah. Yeah. So then, do you know what the number one benefit about being vegan is? You're not a hypocrite. That's the number one benefit.
ja, wir sind gleich fertig.
Gleich.
Ja, ja, 2 Minuten.
I'll let you go if you have to go.
Yeah.
So the number one benefit is animals don't die for you, and you're not a hypocrite, because if you oppose it, there you go. You live up to your own moral potential, your own moral standards. You sleep nice at night. And trust me, you don't lose enjoyment of food. You don't. Anything that you can get from meat, you can get it from plants also. Like most of the food that tastes nice on meat is because of the spices anyway, right? Spices give the
Yeah,
taste,
that's-
not the meat. That's the reality. So yeah, there's a slight taste difference, but that goes away very fast. It's really like within a month. It's
you get
like
used to it.
yeah, you get used to it so fast that then you never miss it again, and then you wonder why did I used to participate. The reality is that most vegans, the one regret they have, including myself, is not being vegan earlier because you're like, what the fuck was I doing? Why was I doing all this? How could I justify doing all this?
Okay.
Can you promise me? So I want two things from you to get from this discussion. Number one is understand your involvement in the matter. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
Your
it-
responsibility?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Okay. Number two, I want you to further ahead to get informed. I'll give you some resources just to learn about honey, maybe other stuff that you probably don't know, and just to get an idea, a full idea of what animal agriculture really is. Because we think of happy animals living on a field and us living in communion with them, but it's far from it. And can you promise me you're going to look into it further?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. And going further, I will tell you that if you buy an animal product, an animal will be exploited and put into these cruel practices and eventually slaughtered for you, right? So if you don't want that to happen, you better go vegan, okay?
Yeah.
I'll give you a card here. If you scan this or go on this website and type in this code, you have Challenge 22, which is also written here. If you subscribe to this, all of it is free, by the way. They send you recipes, vegan recipes every day, and hook you up with a nutritionist to get the better nutrition for 22 days, so that they can help you change your habit. Because for most people, it's a habitual change. There's also personalized help. Somebody will log in with you on a Discord server and help you even further if you're having difficulties being vegan or something, or living a plant-based lifestyle, or living a vegan lifestyle, whatever. Well, there's a difference. Plant-based is food. Vegan is encapsulates all of it, right? And it's a moral philosophy, as we discussed. But there's one thing that I want you to watch. If you put in this here, if you scan this or go to this website and put in this code, it's called the most important speech you will ever hear.
I'm going to challenge your belief systems today, so certain parts of the speech will be intense.
It's one guy in US holds a speech, like we discussed just now. There's not gruesome content. I think maybe in parts he shows some parts, but not a lot. Like he just explains what happens to animal in the animal agriculture, and he's very direct and down to earth about it. And you get to know what you pay for, and there's nothing wrong with getting more informed, right? And then if you want to go vegan, there's so many resources. There's Challenge 22 that I mentioned, and there's several other resources also. How does that sound?
Good.
You gonna watch that video?
We will have a look.
Okay, what's your name?
I'm Christine.
Nice to meet you, Christine. How about you?
Yanis.
Yanis. Nice to meet you.
What's your name, by the
I'm
way?
Chip. I'm Chip. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention it. Yeah. You also have my socials here. I might publish this video. If you wanna go vegan and you're having difficulties, you can also contact me. Or
That's pretty
anything.
nice.
Okay. And about this activist, I think I know her, the militante vegana,
Yeah,
Rafaela.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the girl.
The reality is that when you're vegan and you realize that this is happening to animals, there's two ways you can handle it, right? And most of us get this rage within us where we're like,
I guess
it's not fair, you know?
Yeah.
It really isn't fair that we treat these animals. So she's very passionate in that
Yeah.
way. And, you know, when you do activism, as an activist, I can tell you that I have patience with people. I sit and talk to people. That's just who I am, right? I'm not that fired up as her. But in a sense, what she does, because there is actually a practice where you talk to somebody, and if you see that it's going nowhere, you say, okay, mind your own business, and you go to the next person. Well, if you see her conversations, she does have conversations with people who are more open, and she's nicer to them. But otherwise, it's just her being passionate about it. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
I mean, that's okay, but I think that's not the right way to go. Because-
Depends on each person. There's
Well,
people
yeah.
who need a push, right?
Sure. Yeah, you're
You,
right about that.
there's people who need this, like, there's only one way to know, by the way, right? Because I talked about it nicely to you.
Yeah.
Let's see if you do something about it. Whereas maybe if somebody had called you, I don't know, names
Well,
or
but
whatever
yeah,
this
but,
does.
but if she did that,
Yeah.
or no, if you did that, we would probably no. I know we would just went away.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I
have
see what
talked to you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And now you have informed us, and we like get to know more information
Yeah.
about it. So we
There's-
might change anything. It's better than just being like, oh, calling out names.
Yeah.
And we would
Yes.
have left.
I'll just tell you, there's different forms of activism, and hers works on some people, mine
Yeah,
works on others.
Yeah.
It just is what
That's
it is,
okay.
right? That's
Yeah.
all it is. She's a great activist. I have a lot of respect for her because she does a lot of good things.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people may not like that, you know. But as I said, like imagine we exploit humans, somebody will be outraged. It's the same. What is the
Yeah.
like? I didn't have to even ask you this, but like, what is it? The morally significant difference between an animal and a human being that says it's okay to exploit one but not the other?
Well, there isn't.
Yeah, there's no difference.
There isn't. We're all sentient. We all feel. The only reason why it's bad, if I ask you why is it bad to hit a person on the street, is because they would feel bad about it, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing would be for an animal. The reason why it's bad to hit an animal, the reason why it's bad to kill an animal, is because they feel bad about it. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
We all deserve to live, okay?
that's true.
Thank you for having this conversation with me. And
Thank you.
remember your responsibility and act if you want to act. Don't be afraid. It's a good change. It's a change for the better, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good one.
Bye.